Are we still in March, the month with the International Day for Women? Some would say the entire month of March is the month for women. Well, it seems women are choosing to break the bias in ways that are interesting, for lack of better word. You may have heard about the scuffle altercation that occurred at the inauguration of Prof. Charles Soludo as the new governor of Anambra State on Thursday. Governor Soludo was elected on the platform of AGPA, All Progressive Grant Alliance. Just in case you haven't heard, the scuffle was between Mrs. Ebele Obiano and Ms. Bianca Ojukwu. Ebele Obiano is the wife of William Obiano, the immediate past governor of Anambra State, while Bianca Ojukwu is the widow of Chief Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, the ex-Biafra leader and founder of AGPA. There are so many stories flying round about what led to the scuffle and who slaps who. What's clear from the short video clips making the round is that Ebele Obiano, it was who walked no scratch, that she was almost keeping with Gele as she went up to Bianca Ojukwu, who was seated on the opposite side. Ebele Obiano, Anambra former First Lady, appeared to have touched Bianca somehow when she got to where Bianca was seated. Bianca got up and there was some confusion at this point. As Ms. Obiano takes a step back, wig askew, people step in to separate the two women. There may have been one or two slaps. Things get heated, and at this point, some guy shouted on the media to switch off their cameras and to stop recording. Not before Ms. Obiano shouted "Ashawo, prostitute" at Bianca as she went to sit beside her husband, who had been sitting alone, as Ebele Obiano hasn't arrived with hers. In fact, she had been seated somewhere else as he had arrived earlier and had been sitting alone, and almost forgot there was one man wearing a red cap. Quite a few people were wearing red caps at the event, who grabbed and held onto Bianca ostensibly to separate the fight. The man held on as if for dear life, a tad too long. This story of the slap or no slap, who slap who, has caught the attentions of Nigerians, as the story has now developed a life of its own, almost overshadowing the inauguration. As per usual, opinions is divided as people watch and talk about the occurrence as if it's a telenovela drama. There are those asking, how could Lady Bianca stoop so low as to be slapping a fellow woman at such an important event? A whole former ambassador. There are also those leeching onto the fact that earlier report had said it was Ebele Obiano who slapped Bianca to criticize the media. Well, most of the people I follow on social media seems to be Team Bianca or anti-Ebele Obiano. This can mean different things, as being anti-Ebele does not automatically translate to being Team Bianca. I understand the anti-Ebele sentiment, but I don't condone violence, privately or publicly. Be that as it may, with the little I've seen of Miss Ebele Obiano in the media, it's difficult to be on her side, except if, of course, it's your job or there's some other peculiar reasons. Ebele Obiano, it was who at a height of COVID-19 shared a video of herself getting the COVID vaccine all the way in America. This was a time Nigeria hasn't yet received the vaccine. The issue is not her getting the COVID vaccine. I mean, if there was an opportunity to protect herself, I cannot really blame her for choosing that option. The issue was her insensitivity to the plight of millions of Anambra State citizens and other Nigerians who had no options. Why did she think sharing her pictures taking the vaccine was a good idea? It's more likely she did not care if the way she walked over to Bianca Ojukwu is any indication. Meanwhile, on a recent interview with the wife of late Odumegwu Ojukwu, Bianca, she had shared her side of the story as regards her scuffle with ex-governor Wali Obiano's wife, Ebele Chukwu. Ebele was noticeably absent as the inauguration ceremony started. Bianca said Ebele then arrived an hour later. I did not pay any attention to her arrival. Surprisingly, she then walked towards me, and I thought she was coming to greet me. Instead, she violently attacked me with her voice raised, taunting me and asking me what was there to do, using unprintable valley language. She asked if I had come to celebrate their last day in office, but I ignored her completely. Then she kept on aggressively putting her hand on my shoulder and shouting. While I ignored her verbal onslaught as advised by people sitting around me, I requested twice that she refrain from touching me with her hands. She proceeded to do so yet again and tried to touch my head and remove my head tie. It was at this point I stood up to defend myself and gave her a dirty slap to stop her from attacking me. As she made towards me, I then pulled away her wig. She then held on to her wig with her two hands and tried to take the wig away from me. The former APGA chairman, Ume, told her to leave me and told everyone to leave. I was stunned by the stench of whiskey in her breath at such an early hour of the day. How could the First Lady be so drunk at that time? I stayed back to watch the ceremony till the end, and I left with my dignity intact. The only other time I noticed Miss Ebele Obiano was when she wore some outrageous Gucci sunglasses to the funeral mass for Pa Oyima, father to Elian Oyima, LP CEO, in 2019. Those glasses reportedly cost $2,755 US, about 995,932 naira in 2019, but now at least 1.5 million. There are also kind of stories about Miss Ebele Obiano being in the habit of slapping people herself, and if stories are to be believed, she was quite high-handed as the First Lady, even as wife to her husband. But are all this enough for Miss Obiano to have suffered such humiliation? Although we can't forget that she carried her two legs herself to receive the slap or no slap. As I said, I don't condone violence. I am curious to know the outcome of this public franca though. A friend was angry that this matter won't be investigated further, and people possibly find this friend also said that in a working system relevant organs will swing into actions as they get to the root of this matter. Instead, it's all turning to banter as usual. It appears nothing is going to be done. In other news, ex-Governor William Obiano was arrested Thursday evening by the EFCC Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on his way to the US.